Good evening, everybody. Doesn't really matter if it's evening, morning, day, or whatever it is, night. It could be the middle of the night and you're still awake because you are a threatening animal, and that is okay. Well, I don't want to do the standard YouTube greeting, or the standard podcast greeting, or the standard streamer greeting, but I will do I don't know, the same thing as always. I don't know. How's everybody doing? It's just me. It is only Kyle. Chase is currently working like an actual, human being, an adult. I, however, am off for the day, and off now, and I am recording today for our first episode of Underratedly Unheard Of, or I guess the reboot, because we already did it once before. If you hadn't seen the episodes, you could check them out, or you could be like everybody else and not. Anyway, I am here today by myself, and we are going to be taking a look at today's game, I suppose. A little bit interesting. It's not going to be a traditional game. You guys have probably seen it on the screen here already. We are taking a look at Rolls and Dice. This was released January 19th as of recording, so this is actually released today as of this recording. Now, whenever this comes out, we'll see. This is actually not a true game. This is a utility, an RPG utility tool, I suppose, on Steam currently. Developed and published by noOne. That's no with an O of the one. Anyway, noOne. I'll put it on the screen here. You could take a peek right there. Released today. It's a utility tool. So essentially, it mimics what a D&D campaign would be if you were to play it online. And everybody knows with COVID how difficult it was for a time and period to be able to play in person. So let's just kind of launch. So you can either do a player code where you enter a lobby code, or you can do Game Master. For the purposes of this video, we will be doing the Game Master. The file itself is not very big. It is smaller than a gig. Very simplistic UI and so far. So essentially what you get is you get multiple tools up here. So you have the dice box where you're able to roll dice. You can even do 3D dice if you want that nice immersion feeling. And you're like, I want to be able to watch my dice screw me over. It's pretty sweet. So you have options of, your D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, 20, and 100. You can roll multiples. You can actually do private rolls, which I thought is really cool. So if you guys are big D&D fans, or, you're casual into it, or you're thinking about getting into it, one of the big points of D&D is the ability to be immersive and not let people know what's happening. So one of the things that me and my friends like to do is hidden saves for death saving throws. So instead of publicly announcing, my death saving throw is a success or a fail, we'd roll it privately, and only the DM, or in this case the Game Master, GM, would be able to see that roll. Now, this is a good immersive element. This also allows players to be privately DM'd and say, hey, I need you to make a passive insight or an insight check to one person in particular because of their positioning. We'll go into a little bit more on this later. But the ability to put it privately makes it that much more immersive for characters that aren't supposed to say anything. I think it's a great thing. I think it prevents players from having to publicly, be aware that, oh my goodness, one person had to roll a d20, and, we know that their result is an 11. We don't know what that means, though. Without the DM publicly announcing what that means and just saying, okay, continue, it's in the back of your mind. Doing it privately, and especially if you play on Discord through a private DM and then making them roll privately as well, kind of keeps your players immersed in what they're doing without getting suspicious for no reason. So I thought that was a really cool add-on, just for reference in case you hadn't seen it yet. The lobby code is up here for your players to be able to join in. From there, you have the ability to create or edit characters. So you'll actually see I have two characters, Jack the Jacker and Jack the Jacker. These are just fun characters I was playing around with a little bit beforehand. So essentially it allows you to kind of port in the character. You can utilize their full name. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I have yet to be able to figure out how to get the portrait URL to work. I was trying to link it through Discord. It was unsuccessful. I would love comments explaining how to do this, maybe in the comment section, or perhaps, I'm going to leave a review on the game page and maybe they can help explain it because I'm a little bit dumb. I'm sure they have a tutorial video out, but nonetheless, I thought this was really cool to be able to kind of make your own little token. So I know that many map-making websites, many map-making utilities and apps allow you to create little player icons, little tokens. This is the first one that I have been able to find that allows players to take full control of their respective tokens. So if you're not familiar using websites like Incarnate, for instance, you can create maps. I have Arkenforge for creating maps and creating that fog of war effect for players. But the only notable thing is it doesn't always have the best immersion for allowing players to control their own individualized tokens. So this was a really cool add-on to me where it's essentially playing it as a game for everybody else to be able to move their tokens. From there, you can create your size based on your D&D size, your health points pool, your movement points, which, you know, that's up to you. Your initiative, which I don't really know is a necessary add-on at the time, and then your night vision ability and stuff like that. You can also create or edit groups, which I thought was pretty cool to be able to port in. If you as the dungeon master or the game manager, whichever one in this case you want to be, you can actually create your own NPCs and put them into the map so that if you had a group of bandits, for instance, that was supposed to ambush people, you can just port them in very easily. As we all know as DMs, it doesn't work that easily. Everybody screws everything up. Everybody goes off haywire. You've created a map for something that doesn't get done the way you want it to, and it sucks. But nonetheless, it's a cool little feature that you as a dungeon master, if you're preparing, can actually preemptively set and get ready for some groups to be able to call like the bandit squad, and you'd be able to port them in later. So another cool little add-on, and I don't know, I thought that was I thought it was neat. You click down here, and you have to set the group name, which I thought it did. Moving on to the map, or the board, you can actually customize a board by utilizing URL. So I'm going to see if this works this time. It does not. I am still struggling a little bit with the UI. It's not bad. It's just a little bit different from what I am used to. Let me see if I'm able to port one in here. I was working on it earlier, and I was able to get it. I've been using Discord as my method. And let's see if this works. Hit this, and perfect. Okay, so it does work. So one of the ways that I found is being able to put an image into Discord if you're able to share the maps with everybody so they can see them as you go. I actually was able to hit copy link and then put it in. So be careful if you don't own these images. It's technically comparable to stealing in a way if people, build these and sell these maps, which they do. Just be careful with doing that because it's a little bit shady. But from there, you're able to port an image into the game. You can create cell numbers to be able to create cells. If you're not familiar with this, what this does, it creates a grid. So now you got this nice little grid on this map. So you actually have the ability to walk and stuff like that. Typically, each square represents a foot or 5 feet, depending on who you are as a dungeon master. So you can do 1 foot, 1 foot, etc., etc., or you can do 5 feet per movement, depending on how big your squares are. Another pretty cool thing, you're able to change the cells. You're able to create teleport points where people can obviously teleport and be like, oh, you're going to be able to jump to here if you stepped on this trap, something that maybe the people didn't know about. You can also create traps and things like that. So if they step on that as a dungeon master, you're able to tell what they've done. You can create walls. You click on it and you drag it from there. So you go from here to here to here to here to here. And then once you're done, you hit end creation and now you have a wall. This is more useful, obviously, indoors and stuff like that, so that players can't just jump from, over the thing to over here. And then you have the ability to create doors and things like that. You can change the opacity of the grid, so if you didn't want to be as apparent, you can kind of make it a little bit more dull. The vision range can be changed so that if characters currently are only in a little room like this, instead of being able to give them the entire map, you can actually give them only a small area, which I thought was pretty cool. And then, of course, you can import your characters and put them onto places within the map. So these are all pretty little cool things. I thought, honestly, it was one, and then you can obviously save your map, call it autosave. I called this one the forest just to make it convenient for myself. And we'd hit, let's call it the forest. I'll go ahead and hit save map. Yes. And then we move into the last part of the options, which is the ability to manage the board. So let's say we use the forest. We'll put it in here. We have our vision range, we reduce it to 25, and we're going to go ahead and import our character or import our group, the bandit squad, whichever one it's going to be. Obviously, I am still struggling a little bit with this part because I haven't been able to get in and do a lot of this stuff. You do have some music URL if you wanted to play some ambiance or you wanted to play a nice little kind of like background music set. Nice little So I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, if you have camp encounters, probably a lot of us have played Baldur's Gate, so we all have that nice little Baldur's Gate camp theme in the back of our heads. Other things that you can do an exploration mode where their characters are able to walk around the map and just kind of do things casually. One thing is the DM that you can do is you can go ahead and signal things. You can also go ahead and put little icons on. And lastly, you can roll dice, maybe to yourself, maybe publicly, just demonstrating, oh, well, you've done something. And now I'm going to roll an environmental check to see what's kind of going on. Cool little features, and of course, the ever-popular combat mode, which I won't be able to really show you, but there is the initiation where you can go ahead and do the d20 plus your initiative, or you can just do the initiative value, or as I like to do, just go ahead and roll your real dice if you like to do that too. Turn on opportunity attacks, and start combat mode. And all of a sudden, boom, you'd be able to port in your characters and have them move as is. You'd be able to sit down and just take control of this as your Dungeon Master. Your players will be on this side as well, so you'll actually be able to see things, and so on and so forth. I know this is a really vague introduction, obviously in the setting of I don't have a whole lot of... oh, here's your player icons, by the way. So let's just drag this guy over here, kind of show you what to do. You can obviously drag him like this, so you know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So depending on how your movement, if you want to do one movement is every 5 feet, like some people do, you can obviously jump them over to here. I thought that was a pretty cool feature. You can also ping things for when you're trying to do that. So let's say you're, Jack the Jacker over here is like, yo, go over here. I'm gonna use my, my one movement or my one, action or whatever to go ahead and say I need this over here. I thought overall this was pretty cool. So I know, whirlwind introductory, pretty short video, not meant to be too crazy. This is also just kind of like me wanting to put out a video and get this thing kind of, underway and moving. This is Rolls and Dice. Overall, I don't have a lot to add beyond that. I think this was it's a cool little tool. It's a cool little thing. As a D&D fan, I love that this was an option for campaigns. I love the abilities and what you can do with this. I think it's a really cool thing, and I don't know, I'm kind of excited. So this is currently free on Steam to be able to download. It's, obviously came out today as of recording this video, so there is plenty of room for this to change, get better. Maybe it doesn't get touched at all, but honestly, for a free product, yes, there is facets of this that require your own individualized use. So, like, obviously creating the maps is still a big thing. But we all know how difficult sometimes it is to be able to utilize player encounters and let them feel immersive. And also, a lot of challenges often lie with the ability to have characters in combat adequately and efficiently be able to see their environment, plus opponents within view and out of view. This is one of the best tools that I've seen so far in a little bit that is not only a free tool, but is kind of polished in the sense of, like, you've got some basic necessities already in here. You don't have to have a whole lot of craziness in terms of combat. I know that if I'm attacking someone over here, I can utilize my ping feature and say, I'm attacking this enemy. My bad, I used the wrong ping tool. I'm attacking this. I'm struggling right now with this, my goodness. I was going to do a little ping, but there we go. I'm attacking this enemy, for instance, and things like that. So, I don't know. I think it's a pretty cool thing. Overall, typically what I would do is I would rate the actual appearance of the game. I would rate the music, I would rate the controls, and I would rate the game itself. So we'll go ahead and give it, our 4 categories. Ta-da! So we do have on here, we have the look of the game, we have the music of the game, we have the controls, and the overall score all out of 10. Obviously, there's no music. I can't rate that one, so that's going to be an NA. The music is up to you. The look of the game is it's simplistic, but it has what you need to get the game done. I don't go home and say this is an absolute beautiful work of art, but I do say, hey, it's got everything that I would want to see in a game, especially as a tool for an RPG-based D&D kind of campaign or whatever you're running. It's got everything I need. The only thing that I can say is that maybe the background paired with the grids can be a little bit better, but honestly, I can't even complain about that because the grids are up to yourself. So overall, like, there's a lot that I kind of like about it. So overall, I'm going to give this about an 8 out of 10 for look. Nothing crazy. It's kind of up to your own stuff. The dice and the 3D rendering, specifically the dice, is good enough where I feel like, yes, I enjoy rolling it. it gives you that ability to do 3D dice versus regular dice. So you have the choice whether you really want to be in on it, or you could just say, screw it, I'm rolling my own private dice and hope your players don't fudge the numbers. You go from there. The controls. So I love everything. It's simplistic on your ability to do combat mode. Exploration mode, I need to do a little bit more work on. Kind of testing it out and stuff like that, but you guys have now kind of seen exploration and combat mode work relatively similarly. I like the teleportation, I like the traps, I like the ability to do private rolls and roll on the actual map. Those are all really good features. The only thing about the controls I don't like would be the images. I am not a huge fan of how it's designed to import the pictures. I think it could be more refined instead of doing URLs, having already saved images. Does that reduce piracy? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, if I copy and paste and like download an image versus, I create an own image or whatnot. My only gripe with this would be, like, I have friends who they do like they'll do their own art. I don't really know how that would work unless you put it into Discord, and so far I've yet to see success in being able to port an image from Discord onto the player icon specifically. That is my only gripe. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it's just me. It could completely just be I'm a dum-dum who can't figure out how to correctly import an URL for a player icon. The maps, on the other hand, has been zero issue to me. I think this works amazingly great with Incarnate if you have it. If you don't, I'm not going to, advertise for it, but I've used it and I think it's a great tool. Obviously, that image was actually from Incarnate. And I think it looked really good. I have zero issue. Obviously, it was a little grainy, but not the worst. I've definitely seen worse maps. I think this is overall pretty good. It even gives you an ability to kind of count up on the heights if you really wanted to. I have zero issues with the actual controls of this outside of the image rendering. So, or image uploading. So overall, I would give this a 7 out of 10 for controls. It's pretty user-friendly. I probably only had to play around with this for about 10 minutes before I felt pretty comfortable with it. The only thing that I would say makes me hesitant on the overall, 100% perfect of this would be the images. But otherwise, super user-friendly, super straightforward. I have zero complaints about it beyond that. So yeah, I'd give it that. And for the overall score, as far as tools go, especially as a free tool, this is probably, to me, about a 9. It is very handy. I see many practical uses for this. I see a lot of use as a dungeon master or a game manager or a game master, whichever title you want to take on, Lord of the Universe, whatever it is. I overall like this. I think this was really well done for a free price tag. Phenomenal. Obviously it utilizes the use of outside resources, but I think this was a fantastic job. And hey, listen, good job. I feel bad saying noOne because I don't think that noOne is. That's what they go by. They are N-O lowercase, capital O for the one, N-E. Great job, noOne. I think this was a really well done game. I will be leaving a review on the thing, and I guess we'll be posting this on Twitter. I don't really know. Do we use Twitter? Chase isn't here, so I can't ask, but we'll be posting this on Twitter and YouTube and all of this stuff. And we'll see where we go. So, friends of D&D, friends of RPGs, friends of online games like this, I think this is a great tool. If you're looking for that kind of dynamic, interactive adventure tool, this is a great way to do real-time stuff. It's a really good way to get your friends in. They don't have to have a very powerful PC to be playing this. This is compatible with Intel Pentium 4. This is you only need the NVIDIA. I can't even imagine what level you need because it's so small of a game. You only need about 300 megs. Not a demanding game. I don't see a reason you can't get your friends on this one if you're trying to get that online stuff. So, if you're playing Discord level D&D, if you're playing online games and you're not able to do it in person because of distances and whatnot, I think this is a really, really good tool, and I strongly, recommend giving it a look. So, yeah, that's all I've got. Short video, I'm sure. Maybe not so much. I'm not really positive, but welcome to 2024. Welcome back to the page if you've been here before. And more than anything else, welcome to Underrated Unheard of. If this is your first time, I'm glad I was able to pop your cherry. If it's not your first time, I am shocked you're back, and I'm actually really happy though. So, once again, my name is Kyle. the Scandinavian sensation, Loki, whatever you want to know me as. And I got nothing else to really say. So, great job, noOne. I love the tool. I will actually be hoping to introduce this to my D&D friends and maybe see about getting a campaign on here. And I look forward to see if you continue to update this and where you kind of go from here. So, great job. And yeah, that's all I've got here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And we will see you for our next underratedly unheard of game. Ciao.